Hi everyone, and if you missed class on Tuesday, January 4th, here's just a little overview of what we did in class today. So of course we started with a do now. If you open up the do now in the January 4th folder, you can see it's pretty simple. It just asks for one thing you're looking forward to in the new year 2022. And afterwards, we have two other files in this folder. One is a New Year's Review PowerPoint, which is also the PowerPoint that we worked off of in class today. And then the second is an activity called New Year Review. And this right here is the assignment that you're going to need to turn in for credit. So if we open up this review, we actually have a link to the PowerPoint as well right here in the directions. It says, review this PowerPoint of material from the fall and complete the review questions below. Ask Ms. Kuig for help if you don't remember a concept, and do not Google answers. Even if you're completing this on your own, this is really important because what I'm using this review for is primarily to decide what material we need to go back and cover before our benchmark exams coming up at the end of the month. And so if everyone gets 100% on the atomic structure questions, but because they're Googling them and not because they understand that concept, I'm not going to spend time reviewing it before the benchmarks, though all these topics will still be on the exam. And so then that's not going to play out well when we get those questions wrong without Google to help us. So please do your best on it and come to office hours or send me an email if you need help, or go back and check your notes or the review PowerPoint, which I'm going to go over in a second to jog your memory, but do not Google answers. I am grading this based on completion and effort. So you'll see that there's a couple different sections of questions in this document. This first section is all review questions about atomic structure. This second is all review questions about valence electrons, and you should be using this image right here as a reference. We have a set of questions about Lewis dot structures, ions, and the crisscross method of ionic bonding. All of these categories for the questions match the review topics that are discussed and outlined in this PowerPoint. So the heading on each slide, and sometimes there's more than one slide per topic, but it'll indicate what topics the slides are discussing, and these will match the headers within the review worksheet. So for example, if you get stuck on this question, how many core electrons are there, right? And you're not sure where to go from here. This is in the valence electrons table. So when you go to the New Year's Review, I would scroll until I find the slides on valence electrons. And here I can see that valence electrons are the electrons on the outermost shell of the atom, but all of the other electrons on the inner shells are called core electrons. So this hopefully would jog my memory on the difference and allow me to go back to the review to count the core electrons. Okay. After you have finished the review worksheet, please also note that there's a questions box at the bottom. So if you have any concerns for me about the next 2 weeks in virtual learning, or you have any questions on the content that you think are going to be really important to cover when we do our benchmark review, or any questions that you weren't able to ask about a certain topic either in class or weren't able to get to during office hours with me, you can put them here and I'll get back to you and email you as soon as possible. Make sure that you submit the assignment when you're done, and that's all you have to do for January 4th.